All right, now, as I've been saying, Kamala Harris, the VP, she's flip-flopped on almost every major policy, if not her policy position since becoming the Democrat presidential nominee, swiping a page from Donald Trump himself on the famous border wall. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Just a few weeks ago.
And the tax on tips, too.
And she stole tax on tips, yes. This is just a few weeks ago. Do we have this? Look at this. Kamala Harris was caught flaunting the U.S.-Mexico border wall in a campaign ad.
Wild.
Yes. I mean, this is, well, she barely visited when she was the czar in charge of the, by the way, she still is. She's still technically in charge of the border wall.
This is almost satire.
It is almost satire. She's made it clear she does not support walls for construction or a fully secure border, which has led literally to millions of undocumented immigrants flooding our country along with countless amounts of drugs, criminals, gangs. I mean, you can go on and on here.
Yeah, I mean, even if you have changed your mind slightly, don't pretend to have been for the wall.
Right.
It was the most contentious part of that election.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
she was saying how it was racist, it was this, it was that, and they don't work, it was medieval.
I don't know how many people this went past for them to approve of this, but yeah, that's not a great ad. Anyway, according to the House Committee on Homeland Security, under Kamala's watch, as borders are, illegal crossings at the southern border exceeded those seen during Trump's presidency by, get this, 140%.
Massive.
Massive. Okay, so let's bring in former senior advisor to DHS Under Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas and retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Berney Flowers, along with Sheriff of Terrell County, retired Border Patrol agent Sheriff Thaddeus Cleveland. I should know that by now after we have the sheriff on so many times. Right. But look, sometimes it's my accent. We'll blame that. Sheriff, do you think Kamala wants to build a wall on our southern border, or do you think that she's just saying anything for the voters now?
Hey, good morning, Sarah, and good morning, Michael, and thank you all for having me back. And it is Terrell, and but no, it's certainly, look, we're around 60 days out from the election. This administration, Vice President Harris knows that the border is the #1 topic, and you know, they're going to say whatever they can do to get more people back to their side, to make it look like they're actually doing something. And I must say that, look, you know, only in the last 100 days have they taken token efforts along the border to make it look like that they're doing something. But we can't forget that the last 3.5 years has been in complete chaos, and we're seeing the after effects of it now in many cities across the United States.
Yeah, you know, Colonel, one of the things that I'd love to ask Kamala Harris if I was doing a debate, and I would say, well, why aren't you doing it right now? You're the vice president right now. Why do you have to wait? You could work with your president and get this done. But I did want to ask you about Venezuelan gangs. I mean, literally, it's been all over the news, everywhere you look. And that's really because of the open border. Just take a look at this video of the alleged gang members from Venezuela. And this is Aurora, Colorado. It's an apartment complex that they basically took over. You see them brandishing rifles, handguns. They bust into this apartment. And it's not just Colorado. There's reports of this happening in Chicago as well. Police received a call. Over 30 Venezuelan migrants barged into an apartment building with guns. This is beyond a regular problem. Our police, for the most part, especially in small towns, aren't really trained to deal with these types of gangs. What's going on here, and is this going to have an effect for the election? Because it seems to be something people are watching in real time as we head into the 60-day stretch.
Sarah and Michael, first, thank you for having me. I always enjoy when you guys call up, and I'm always ready for you. But the bottom line is that Kamala Harris and the Biden administration over the last 3.5 years bought millions upon millions of illegals here. And not only is it just a threat to the local populace, it's a national security threat, because what's happening in Aurora is going to happen all over the United States. And we didn't vet these people. We brought them in. We're paying them huge amounts of money to stay. And many of them do not understand our culture. and they don't respect human rights like we do, and you get the results like you have in Aurora, Colorado. And I noticed that the local sanctuary city, Aurora, Colorado, their officials are trying to minimize it. But the bottom line is the people are talking. We're sharing information over the internet. Old soldiers like me and the sheriff or the Border Patrol agent, we're sharing information. And the bottom line is the word's getting out. This has to stop, and we've got to wake up. And eventually they want to give these people a vote and change the continence of the entire United States, and we can't have that.
Yeah, we can't. Look, we have to leave it there. We're going to give you 30 seconds each, though, before we do go. Let's talk about, Mexico, how their involvement in this as well, because, they're also just letting this happen. How do we control the gangs on that side of the border in order to make sure that these people don't cross over as well? I'll go to you first, Sheriff.
Sarah, and we've had programs in the past, again, my 26 years as a U.S. Border Patrol agent, where we work with the government of Mexico and different agencies within the United States government train different law enforcement, soldiers in Mexico to go out there and help combat the cartels. So in addition to that, what President Trump, as far as holding Mexico's feet to the fire and ensured that that we had support along the border. And that's the first time we'd ever seen the government of Mexico actually patrol the United States-Mexico border as well as the Guatemala-Mexico border.
Yeah, I feel like that's really
30
important.
seconds to you, Colonel. Go ahead, wrap it up for us, because I know we did have remain in Mexico under President Trump. We don't have that now.
Well, you can see that apparently the Biden administration and Kamala Harris believe in Trump's programs because they're mimicking them. The issue of the day is that we had this thing not necessarily under control. It was certainly trending in the right direction. And they, legislatively thwarted everything Mr. Trump said. And now they're going back and trying to implement his policies. They're literally stealing and mimicking them. And we've got to get back to normalcy. We've got to get back to working with our allies in Mexico and Central America. Trump has a good plan. It was working, and we just need to get behind it and support it.
Got to leave it there. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, Sheriff Thaddeus Cleveland and Colonel Berney Flowers. We appreciate the input.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.